Going live. You're live! Hello everyone, I'm Santiago, and now I'm going to be testing Call of Duty Vanguard Open Beta once again, but this time on the Xbox Series S and the Series and the One S. So the current gen console, the One S, the Series S, and the One S, the previous gen console. So let's see how it goes. How are you guys doing? Hi, Techno77, Jet Price. So first we're trying the 120 Hz refresh rate mode. So apparently it's dynamic resolution with 1080p as a target, but apparently it drops to 900p. So the only thing I'm disabling here is motion blur, that personally I do not like, but it supports mouse and keyboard, so we're going to play with mouse and keyboard. So we're going to leave the controller aside. 480p? No, 480p maybe on the One S. This is the Series S. So let's go, shall we? Let's see. Unfortunately, there's no FPS counter for this one, so what can you do? Resolution feels pretty much the same in 60 and 120. Oh, okay, interesting. Yeah, some people were saying that in the non-120 frames mode, it was between 900p and 1440p, but on 120 frames mode, it's between 900p and 1080p, so it seems to be pretty much all over the place. So I'd rather play at 120, thanks. if that works properly, of course. Is it free to play? Right now, it's an open beta, so you can jump in with PC, consoles, whatever. It's open to everyone now. Let's see how it goes. I'm playing 1440p 144 Hz and felt the same. What do you mean? This doesn't have 144 Hz on the Series S. You're talking about the Series X by any chance? Okay, this menu is probably, yeah, the interface is 30 frames. Okay, let's do the same as before on the PC. I played this on the PC a few moments ago. Oh yeah. This is definitely 100 FPS. Not even kidding. Yeah, this is butter smooth. Playing against Asian people, I think. Whoa. Yeah, but this is definitely not 1080p at the moment, I think. Oh, never mind. When looking that way, it's super sharp. Yeah, it seems to be dropping below 1080p sometimes. Although the game is already pretty soft, so yeah. Yeah, it looks good. And it's 100 FPS. Yeah, it feels more than 60. I can tell you that much. And thank you so much, Juliano G, for becoming an awesome supporter 2.0. Thank you so much, man, for becoming a supporter of the channel. The 2.0 version. I hope you enjoyed the icon next to your name and the emojis that are included. How are you doing, man? Welcome, welcome. Leave some message or something so I can read what you have to say. Thank you for supporting the channel, man. Super appreciated. Whoa, he was behind me. They're always behind me, shooting. It happens in every Call of Duty. Okay. On Series S it's 90 to 120, 900p to 1080p, and 60 frames it's 1080p to 1440p with higher graphics. Gotcha. Yeah, I'm going to be trying that in a sec. But right now, it seems to be over 60. If it's below 120, hard to tell. At least in this level. Although on the PC version, this level ran the best. So I gotta try the snow level, I think. This level on the PC was the best running one, as far as I remember. So yeah. But it feels to be over 100 FPS right now. So 90 to 120, that's pretty good numbers, I would say, for a new game. Just tuned in. Hey, Louis Sor, how's it going, man? Dragon Valley. Akivz Gaming. Let's use the bomb. The bomb has been planted. Oh, I didn't hit anyone. I can definitely feel 60 FPS versus 120, but the resolution felt the same. But do you have a 1440p, a 1440p display or a 1080p display? So I joined late. What's your opinion on this game? It feels, at least for me, the most average Call of Duty so far. I feel like I played this game a million times before. So as I was saying, performance, and at least on this level, seems to be over 100 FPS. I can notice the difference between 60 and 100 FPS. Pretty easy to notice, especially using mouse and keyboard. So we're now trying the 120 Hz mode. After this, we're swapping to 1440p. So stay tuned. We'll be there. Does it look like 1080p? It looks to be 1080p, but dropping below 1080p sometimes. And the reflections are pretty grainy. The screen space reflections. Here it dropped below 100. Probably the smoke. So yeah, but it's pretty smooth so far. But again, I need to go to another level. This one is very easy to run even on PC. This part, I mean. Does it look like 1080p? Yes, but it drops below 1080p. It seems to be between 1080p and 900p, but mostly 1080p. It's really 3 AM at Pakistan and I'm watching. Well, welcome. Hope you fall asleep while listening to my voice. That would be nice. That would feel useful. ¿Jugarás este juego en las 570? Ya lo hice, fíjate en el stream anterior. Bienvenido. Guys, I already tried this game on PC. Check out my previous live stream. I did the 570, 1650 Super, 750 Ti, 1050 Ti, the usual. And since I finished testing those, I'm doing consoles now. Although on the consoles I need to do a separate video to see performance. This is more like a first impressions kind of deal. So yeah, we're almost winning, I think. Alright. But yeah, it feels better smooth. Santiago ASMR 1 all the time, every day, each day. And thank you so much, Juliano G, again for the generous donation. He says he donated 5 Brazilian reais. Greetings from Brazil. Santiago, what do you think about the optimization on the PC? Congratulations for the work, your channel is amazing. Well, thank you so much, Juliano G. Cheers from Uruguay. Hope you're having a great day. Thanks for supporting the channel. On PC, the game runs worse than Modern Warfare while looking worse than it, in my opinion. And you cannot turn off SMAA T2X on this game, on PC, which you could on the previous Call of Duties. And that makes getting more performance more difficult, because that was a pretty demanding option in Modern Warfare and on Warzone. So I'm pretty disappointed with how it runs on the PC, but at the same time, if you have a DX12 optimized GPU, 1650 Super, 570, 580, you should have a decent experience. But so far, visually, I'm pretty disappointed. Yeah. But on PC, you can... Yeah. If you have an old GPU, like a 1050 Ti, you're probably going to be disappointed. But again, visually, I think it's worse than Modern Warfare, but running worse at the same time. No, I think Modern Warfare 2019 looks better than this. But that's just my opinion, of course. Alright. Let's try another level. Hopefully, it's a demanding one. Sí, tal cual, Ronaldo, tal cual. What was your first PC? I had a 486 over 20 years ago. Well, over 20 years ago, I was 5 years old. So, my first PC, I think, was a Pentium 4. No, not a Pentium 4. It was, I don't remember exactly because my father bought one. I think it was the original Pentium. And I was on Windows 95, I think. And then we swapped to 98. But when I built my first PC, it was... what was it? I think I had a Celeron 420 and I bought a 9500 GT. And then after that, I upgraded to a Core 2 Quad. And then I got a GTS 450, basically. That's basically my story there. Snow level felt the worst. Yeah, I'm looking for that one. Hopefully, no, this is the same level again. No thanks. So yeah, the snow level seems to be the worst. Yeah. At least on PC was like that. La verdad que ni idea. Andros 96. Yo calculo que no. Pero veremos. These World War II games are getting boring. Well, we said the same thing when when we got all those modern military shooters. I remember that. How does the 60 Hz mode look in terms of graphics? I'm going to try that out after I get into a more demanding level. So give me one sec. Haven't tried the 60 Hz mode as of yet. They're all playing the same freaking level. What the hell? Yeah, assault. So yeah, let me find one that is snowing, since there's where the where the GPU should suffer the most. When you enter that building on the snow level, everything glitches on Series S. Okay, gotcha. Do you like pizza? Of course, War Machine. I love pizza. I mean, who doesn't? It's obvious, I mean, come on, man. Todo bien, Dead Soldier 95, la verdad, re fluido en la Series S. Alright, let's see. Come on. Again, the Hotel Royale, what the hell? Why? Why do they like Hotel Royale so much? Tal cual, Andros. Yeah, guys, we are... Do you like the crust of the pizza, though? Yeah, of course. I mean, as long as it's not completely burnt, I'm fine with it. Do you like KFC? Never went to KFC. Never been there. I mean, in my country, there is no KFC. I should try it sometime, if I ever go to Brazil or something. Because in Uruguay, there's none. What engine is Vanguard on? I'm not sure. Maybe a hybrid of Cold War and Modern Warfare 2019, I'm guessing. But I'm not entirely sure. We'll see. Maybe levels are mode related? I don't think so. Okay, here we go. Eagle's Nest. Perfect. Bruh. Yeah. Yeah, there's no KFC in my country. I don't remember what mode it was on. The snow map, maybe you need a certain mode. No. I mean, on the PC I play Domination on multiple levels. So it seems to be random. Oh no, is it? Oh, Eagle Nest is not Eagle Nest. Come on. Not this one. Not again. Why? Okay. I'll take any level now. Except this one. So difficult to find the level I want. What is your favorite game? I have many favorites. I'll say Dark Souls 1, Splinter Cell Chaos Theory, Max Payne 3, Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil 5. I like many games, so it's difficult. It's hard for me. I also love Dead Space. So it's hard for me to find a game I do not like from that era. So, yeah. When the Series S said it had 120 Hz, to be honest, I thought it was just marketing and it would never hit that. Well, apparently it can. It makes sense because they can lower the resolution to keep the GPU at bay, and since it's an 8-core 16-thread CPU with very high single-threaded performance, okay, finally, red star, it makes sense that it can hit 120 in some titles, because the CPUs now on the consoles are great, so finally, consoles have good CPUs. Okay, so this should be the most demanding. Alright, yeah, definitely I'm noticing that it's dropping resolution now. Yeah, and the frame rate is not as stable as it was before, although it's still better smooth. Yeah, definitely over 60, but it doesn't feel like 100 FPS now. Especially when looking into the middle here. Yeah, when looking this way, it doesn't feel to be 100 FPS. It feels like 100 when I'm indoors. In this level at least. On the other level it was fine. On the smaller levels. Yeah, looking at this, it feels like 100, but here it feels more like... yeah, below 100. Maybe 80s? Yeah, this is still beta. Yeah, I know. But that's why we're taking a look. We're curious. But so far, butter smooth. It plays just fine. And I'm using a mouse and keyboard. It natively supports it. What do you think about Cut Ghost? They should make a sequel? Nah, Ghost... I mean... it was like a... ludonarrative dissonance. If that's how it's called in English. They were like, oh yeah, we're the ghosts. We're in the shadows. You did like one mission when you're trying to be in the shadows. All the other ones are shooting galleries. I mean, it didn't make any sense to be called ghosts. That's what I'm trying to say. I mean, the story was fun and all, but it was absolutely ridiculous. On the PC it ran terribly bad. Optimization was all over the place. So yeah. I like the shooting, but that's about it. Didn't make any sense. ¿Qué tal suena la consola? No se escucha. Hang on, guys. The frame rate on my camera, on my webcam, is absolute garbage. Yeah, still absolute garbage. Why do you do that, webcam? I hate my webcam. Apologies, guys. Alright, there we go. Now we got more frames on my face. One sec. The thing that dropped frames was my webcam. That's hilarious. So some people were asking about the noise, and I'm not noticing the console wanting to take off. It's pretty silent so far. Sí, tu Play 4 Pro suena mucho. Sí, el Play 4 Pro es re ruidoso. Yeah, I know, guys. PS4 Pro is like a stove. A jet stove. A stove that sounds like a jet engine. I've been playing with one in a friend's house, and man, PS4 Pros are super noisy. You forgot to turn off Hairworks on your hair. Yeah, I forgot. That's why I was getting so few frames on my webcam. I didn't have an Nvidia capable GPU. But so far so good, guys. The 120 Hz mode, it drops below 100. I feel it drops below 100, especially here while looking at this map from this location. Also feels below 1080p while looking here. But overall, butter smooth. There are some points where it drops, but overall, pretty solid. Not gonna lie. I'm impressed. Yeah, eagerly waiting the Witcher 3 next gen update. Hell yeah. Oh. Caught in space with jetpacks, that was one of the worst. Yeah. Well, that one, I like that one more than Ghosts. At least that one tried to do something different. I like doing the secondary missions. So yeah, at least there they tried something different. On Ghosts, they were being pretentious idiots. Oh yeah, the Ghosts. Call of Duty Ghosts is like the equivalent of, oh, I'm 19 and this is deep. Yeah, we use fancy words like a shroud. Yeah, it pretended to be like, I don't know, a philosophy class. And it was doing the opposite of what it was considering itself to be. We are ghosts, we hide in the shadows, and they do shooting galleries all over the place. Yeah, of course you're the ghosts. Series S is good. Yeah, so far so good. We're going to try the 60 frames mode. Give me one sec. We're playing on a 1080p monitor, so Disabling 120 frames probably gives us better reflections and shadows. So let's find that out. Call of Duty Ghosts is edgy. It feels like it. When you're watching the cutscenes, it feels like that. So yeah. Okay, hang on. So let's turn off the 120 frames mode. So off. So 60 Hz mode. It should do some super sampling to 1440p. So dynamic res 1080p to 1440p on 60 Hz mode. So it should be doing the super sampling because I have a 1080p monitor to do the 120 Hz thing. Okay. Let me see what my... Yeah, I should change to 60 Hz on the settings. There we go. I was disappointed that Control Series S runs at 900p. Yeah, I mean, they were super lazy on Control. Like, what can you do? They're trying... They didn't even try to do a good version of Control on Series S. Okay. Mouse and keyboard on consoles, what about the input lag? There wasn't. There isn't any. At least right now, I tried on the Call of Duty games, on the Xboxes, it's been pretty good. Input lag wasn't an issue on these ones. I haven't tried it on the PlayStation consoles. What monitor are you using for Series S? It's in the description. It's a 1080p 144Hz display. But since I'm doing 60 Hz, I had to restart the game. Hang on. There we go. So as you can see, graphics 120 Hz mode is disabled. So now we're forcing the game to do a higher resolution. Let's see how it is. So now it's 60 Hz mode, which should be dynamic resolution between 1080p and 1440p, apparently. So it should be doing some super sampling once I'm playing the game. Should look super sharp. Todavía no, Jorge. Dropping below 1080p. Yeah, sometimes it drops below 1080p at 120 Hz mode. But people are saying that sometimes it drops below 1080p, even on the 60 Hz mode, when there's a lot of effects on screen. But overall, it stays between 1080p and 1440p, apparently. Alright. Xbox is basically running Windows, so mouse and keyboard support should be the same. Well, not always. At the beginning it wasn't like that. But mouse and keyboard support, at least on this game, is pretty good. Good, at a level with a lot of foliage. That's perfect. Okay, let's try... Alright. Yeah, definitely this looks much sharper. Without a doubt, I can tell you guys already. This looks super sharp in comparison to... Yeah, and the reflections are less grainy. Yeah, pretty obvious difference. And it feels pretty solid. Although, yeah, it's not 100 FPS here. This is clearly 60 Hz. Yeah, pretty solid. The graphics card do you have? Yeah, I have many of them. So, check my channel. On the main PC, I'm using a 1650 Super right now. But we're playing on Xbox Series S at the moment. I played Halo Master Chief Collection with mouse yesterday. That game also does. Oh, it also has mouse and keyboard support. That's great. Good, good, good. So when I tried that game, I'll be able to use my mouse. Good. I'm terrible at shooting with with a controller. I didn't see him. What happened to the 2060? It's not with us anymore. Too expensive for the channel. It was the least watched GPU. So maybe coming later, once prices stop being crazy. Do you have a Series X? Unfortunately not. Too expensive. I usually do budget stuff, so the 1S and the Series S are right up my alley. Good luck trying it. It's a 150 GB download. RIP Series S. What do you mean? Oh, you mean Halo? Yeah, Halo is a huge... It's the entire collection, so makes sense. I'm pretty disappointed that Halo 5, the campaign, is not on PC. That's the only thing missing, and we will have all the Halos on PC. So yeah, which is more enjoyable, on this on this or your CPU on your PC test earlier. So this versus PC. Well, I play on budget computers. So I was playing between 30 and 60 frames. So I would say this is comparable to the 1650 Super. This is better than the 1650 Super actually. The 1650 Super was high settings. High settings 1080p, getting basically 60 frames with some dips here and there. And this feels like a mix between medium and high, especially due to those slightly grainy reflections on the 120Hz mode. So yeah, this is a little bit better than the 1650 Super in the 60Hz mode, but I couldn't get 120 frames on the 1650 Super. So in that case, the Series S was superior. It was doing 900p to 1080p, getting 120. With a mix between medium and low, it seemed to be. Those are first impressions. So yeah, this feels better than the PCs I used. So if you have a faster PC, of course, it would be better than this. But in comparison to my budget stuff, this is way better. So yeah, they did a good job with this on the Xbox Series S. Let's see on the One S how it goes. That's the real test. Is it just me or this game looks the same at low settings versus ultra? It looks pretty similar, yeah. The difference with the highest is that, well, if you play on the lowest, there's no reflections on the PC. And the shadows are less defined. The edges of the shadows are like less soft, if that makes any sense. So it's hard to notice. This looks like a mix between medium and high. More like high settings on the 60Hz mode, more like medium on the 120Hz mode. But it seems to be mostly changing the resolution, not so much the graphical settings. And on the PC, the same happens. If you lower the game from high to medium or high to low, it runs the same, but it looks a little bit worse. So resolution is the way to go. You gotta touch the resolution to get more frames. Is this a new COD or a remaster of an old game? It's a new COD. So imagine that. Imagine releasing a new game that runs worse and looks worse than Modern Warfare 2019. Imagine that. Oh wait, that's what's happening. I don't know, at least in my opinion, Modern Warfare 2019 looks better than this and runs better. Yeah, hopefully Battlefield 2042 comes to Game Pass. Who knows? Maybe. Okay, got him. So yeah, the 60Hz mode, pretty solid. Although, if you have a 120Hz monitor, consider using the 120Hz mode. It's pretty solid. It's mostly above 100 FPS, but in some levels I felt it dropped below 100. So yeah, you're at a lower resolution between 900p and 1080p on the 120Hz mode. Slightly worse reflections and shadows, but so far so good. If you have the option, I'll go for 120. But the 60Hz mode, not bad at all actually. It does look sharper than the 120Hz mode, without a doubt. You don't get free stuff for doing this channel, some people do. I usually get games if I request them from the publisher, but since I live in South America, in a country that has pretty terrible tax laws for imports, I cannot request hardware, only software, so sometimes I can request software from developers. So I just send emails asking for review codes, and when I get a game for free, I tell you guys, hey, certain publisher gave me a certain game. Thanks for the support. But in general, Activision, I don't have a contact at Activision. So when Call of Duty releases, I'll have to buy it, which is fine. I mean, I do content for the channel, so it makes sense. Sí, Jorge, tal cual, tengo suerte. Tengo suerte, la verdad. I run it 1440p 60 frames. Well, enjoy. Yeah, this looks to be between 1080p and 1440 so far on the 60Hz mode. And since I'm using a 1080p screen, it seems to be using the super sampling thing. It seems to be going over 1080p sometimes. And I notice because the game is super soft, even on 1080p, and when it goes over 1080p, I can notice the lack of shimmering. The gun looks super high res. So even if you don't have a 1440p display, I can certainly notice the improvement in resolution. Good. Blind firing a Panzerschreck. I don't know if it's called Panzerschreck or Panzerschreck. I'm not German. It's called Panzerschreck? Panzerschreck, like the ogre? Hey again, so how does it look on the Series S? Series S appears to be like... I played it on PC, seems like high settings, kinda like high settings. Maybe a little bit lower. And it seems to be over 1080p sometimes. Mostly 1080p, at least in most levels. Some levels seems to drop below 1080p. But in general, yeah, hovers around 1080p on the 60Hz mode. In the 120Hz mode, it seems to be below 1080p pretty often. And it drops below 100 FPS in certain levels. And maybe it's a mix between medium and high in 120Hz. But that's all my impressions. I haven't done any pixel counting. Those are my impressions after playing the PC version. And visually, yeah, visually it seems to be high settings in the 60Hz mode. Or something close to high settings. But this game doesn't look especially good. It's not special in any way visually, at least in my opinion. Modern Warfare 2019 looks better. But on PC it runs worse, so it seems to be the same thing across the board. PS5 and Series X run this at 4K. I think they are running it at 1600p, between 1600p and 4K, I think, on the 60Hz mode. If I mess that up, please let me know, but it's not native 4K, it's dynamic 4K, dropping to 1600p, I think. Sí, eso parece, Jorge, no sé, ni idea. Veremos qué pasa. Alright guys, so Series S, pretty good. Not gonna lie. I'm impressed with the 120Hz mode. It drops below 100 FPS in some levels, I noticed, but overall, pretty solid. Butter smooth. I'm using mouse and keyboard. Worked perfectly. And the 60Hz mode looks sharper and it has better reflections. Less grainy reflections. Let's check out now the Xbox One S. The base Xbox One. So let's swap now. Let's swap consoles. So we turn off the Series S. Let's connect the One S. So guys, we look up the controller because I use the same controller. Alright. Sí, eso estaría bueno, Jorge. Alright. Now we're back. This is now the Xbox One S, the slowest Xbox on the last generation. And it only has one mode, which I don't know what it is. Probably below dynamic 900p, I'm guessing. I have to look that up, but yeah, not going to be pretty. I'm guessing it will be dynamic res 900p. Let me check that up for you. Xbox One S Vanguard resolution. 1S. Okay, not sure. It's probably 900p, yeah, I'm guessing. 24Hz mode, yeah, let's put the 24Hz mode. Let me check if my display options are correct. Okay, display options, 1080p 60Hz. I love that the One S supports 120Hz in the menu, basically, because there's no other reason. Okay. So we're playing on the slowest last gen console. The Xbox One is a boosted one. No, a boosted one. Yeah, no. That's BS. Boosted my butt. It's not boosted. It has a slightly better, slightly higher clocked CPU, I think. That doesn't make a huge difference. Performance is basically the same. Maybe a slightly better, but that's about it. It's such a tiny difference. I mean, yeah, no. Go for the one in the cloud. Yeah, I'm guessing that 900p will be the base, but it's going to drop all over the place. I'm already seeing it. It's probably going to drop to 720p and not have reflections. Panzerfaust y Panzer Shrek. Ok. Me gusta más el Shrek. Okay. So let's check out the options. Let's disable motion blur right away. No music. Because, you know, copyright. And the One S also supports mouse and keyboard. So that's good. Perfect. So my input will be mouse and keyboard. Wish me luck. 480p time. Let's see. Let's see the yeah. Oh man. It doesn't have even shadows. The character isn't even lit. There's no lighting shining on the character. It's a character without shadows. Oh man, that's insane. It's already rough in the menu. Oh my. Since when do console games have graphic settings? The Series S has a 120Hz mode, so it does have graphic settings. Depends on the game and the console. Okay, here we go. Let's play Modern Warfare 2. Call of Duty Vanguard, PS2 era, Medal of Honor Vanguard. Yeah, man. That resolution. Let's see how it goes. Hotel Royale. Okay, this level has a lot of reflective surfaces, so it will be interesting. Let's see if it drops frames. Of course it will. Ready for takeoff, Rambo 06. Okay, hasn't loaded the gun yet. There we go. Okay, yeah, this is definitely not native 900p. Yeah, it's pretty rough. And definitely not 60 Hz. It's below 60 already. Yeah, especially when shooting. Just like on the PC, it drops frames when you are attacking enemies. Yeah, it seems to be between 900p. Yeah, 900p. Seems to be 900p actually. But there is some graphical artifacts into the distance. Yeah, it's pretty rough. Pretty rough, not gonna lie. Here it is dropping. Yeah, this is below 60, without a doubt. Not 30 frames, but not 60. It seems to be into the 40s. It feels... yeah. No, this feels like 30 actually, this part. Well, look into the distance. Yeah, no, definitely not 60. Not 60, and when I look into the distance while getting shot at, it feels like it drops below 40. So yeah, pretty rough. And this is not native. Okay, what the... some lighting glitches. It's a beta, that's fine. But still, I'm pretty impressed that they managed to make this game run. To play it at 30 frames on a 750 Ti, for example, I needed to do 720p. So this is faster, actually, because it's between 720 and 900p. Although it seems to be, yeah, super rough around the edges. I think there's... not sure if it's film grain or it's the grain of the ambient occlusion. Give me one sec. Yeah, no. Okay. This was one as running COD Vanguard. My time has come. Yeah. Yeah, still, I'm impressed that it actually runs. And it doesn't seem to have screen space reflections. Like, yeah, it doesn't have screen space reflections. Makes sense. I mean, why would it? Yeah, it has cube maps, no screen space reflections, as you can notice. When looking at the ground, no screen space reflections, which makes sense. It's a 1S, slowest last-gen console. So yeah, super weak, especially, yeah, when looking into the actual map from a distance, you notice that it drops below 40. I mean, look at this. If I shoot here, okay, it feels pretty solid. I'm looking at nothing. But if I move around and start shooting this way, it feels slower. Especially when explosions show up. But it does feel to be over 720p. At least to my eyes, it seems to be over 720. I played this at 720 a few hours ago on the 750 Ti. And this looks a little bit better than that, not gonna lie. This is definitely over 720. And there, well, into the distance, as you can notice, there are some graphical artifacts. I'm guessing it's due to the level of detail. So yeah, pretty rough. Especially, yeah, in some camera cuts, I'm seeing that it's basically 720. But only when effects show up. It's pretty subtle. But I would say mostly between 900p and 720p. And when effects show up, well, prepare for the blockiness. Yeah, it can be 721p. Yeah, I mean, man, especially here in this corridor, when somebody uses those explosive rounds, good luck. Good luck hitting 40 frames. Yeah, it feels rough. It's playable, but it feels rough. Still, pretty impressed that it actually works. Although this is not the most demanded level, we should get to the snow level. That's going to be even worse than this, I think. So yeah, let's leave this server. I mean, even the mouse cursor is lagging. Yeah, it seems to be dynamic res 720p to 900p. Feels mostly 720p. Yeah, I mean, and you can notice that from the character's lighting in the menu. It's as basic as it can get, but you can play it with mouse and keyboard. Feels like playing on a... It's better than the 750 Ti, so... I mean... Mostly the 750 Ti beats the Xbox One S on most games, so the newer games, the One S is impressing me, actually. It's running the game better than the 750 Ti. The legendary card from 2014. Yeah, that hair... How? Look at that hair, guys. Me on Monday mornings. Me on Sunday evening, on Sunday morning. Okay, hang on. It didn't load. But look at that. Look at that resolution. That's insane. It's insane that it's actually working. It's loading the level, but hasn't loaded any 3D models. There we are. Come on. There you are. It's not loading the 3D models for the characters. Yeah, I mean, look at that. Look at that face. It is... Yeah. The textures don't even load properly. You can do this. Come on. Come on, Xbox. And the Xbox is starting doing some noise. But I love that. It's not even loading the character properly. It's playing hide and seek. Yeah, exactly. Although, yeah, this feels like low settings, without a doubt. And this level has a lot of foliage. This will be more demanding. Let's see how low it drops here. Yeah, the 1S is doing its best. I'm respecting that. Yeah, this is definitely 720. Yeah, in this level, I can definitely notice that it's dropping below 900p. Yeah. And as you can see here, there are reflections on the PC version. On the Xbox, there are cube maps. And that's about it. Yeah, here when looking into the distance on the PC version, I remember, yeah, here it drops into the 30s. My eyes are noticing that. But still, you can play the game. With a controller, it's probably more comfortable than mouse and keyboard on this one. Yeah, mostly 720 seems to be. I'm maybe below 720 sometimes, who knows. I should have to do some pixel counts for that. Guys, this is clearly the definitive edition. Get the 1S, hell yeah. Get a 1S, guys. So yeah, the 1S. I mean, respect for still running games. But this is... I mean, it's even the multiplayer mode. Imagine how it would run. Yeah, here I noticed that it drops into the 40s or 30s. But imagine the single player. If this runs below 60, imagine the single player. It will be 30 frames. But on single player, that's fine. I mean, I can deal with that. The thing is, in a fast-paced shooter like this, you probably want 60 frames. But if you couldn't upgrade your console yet, you can still play it if you want to. Yes, my advice, use a controller. Because, yeah, this is dropping into the 30s pretty often. Especially when looking at the map from a distance. But it's not unplayable. It's just very blurry and pretty unstable. Definitely drops into the 30s. Crouch behind foliage, sometimes stuff will disappear, really? No, it's just... It doesn't seem to do that, sorry. I'm also noticing that the shadow draw distance is pretty poor as well. And the only reflections again are... Oh, look at that. Look at that draw distance. Look at this. Renders in, renders out. Renders in, renders out. Yeah, that draw distance. Love it. Sometimes behind rocks. Okay, well, it's a beta after all, but... I mean, look at this. I aim down sights. So yeah, the draw distance... You can see it. Pretty noticeable. Okay, thanks, Boxing Knight. I appreciate that. Good thing I'm used to playing at 30 frames due to playing on budget PCs. So mouse and keyboard at 30 frames, I can handle it for a little. PS3 version of Battlefield 4 replaced far draw distance with literally a static image. LOL. Well, they are not even doing that here. Let me change my loadout. Yeah, let's do commando. Yeah, and when effects show up, well, good luck maintaining those 40 frames. Those unstable 40 frames. Y mira, Leonel, parece que está entre 30 y 50. Y a veces 60, si pintó el día para que llegue a 60. Pero no es 60 ni de casualidad. Somebody's asking me what's the frame rate here. And so far it appears to be between 30 and 50. If it hits 60 frames, it's probably in the smaller levels while looking at the wall or something. So yeah. Probably looking at this plate, yeah, this is 60 here. But if I look that way, it slows down quite significantly. I mean, just look at the animation. This is super smooth here because there's nothing. And at the other side, it feels super choppy. Yeah, especially here. And the resolution is pretty unstable as well. I mean, when effects show up, it drops the resolution a lot for a couple seconds. So you see as a fast blur. Oh, I died. Stupid me. So as I was saying, here, super smooth. Here, not so smooth. RX 580 running this. The RX 580 can do high settings 60 frames easy on 1080p. So it's much faster than this one. This is more like a 750 Ti. A little bit faster in this game, actually. The 750 Ti couldn't do 40 frames at 720. I had to use lower settings. You can swim in water. GTA Vice City moment. No, at least in GTA Vice City there was an animation for drowning. Here you just go through the water. You just go through. So as I was saying a few moments ago, it drops resolution pretty quickly when effects show up, but then it stabilizes like immediately. So you see a few blurs when you're getting shot at, and then it stabilizes a little bit more. But it mostly feels 720p so far, especially in these more slightly open levels. Okay. And this is also a beta, keep that in mind, guys. But I don't know how in a couple months they're going to fix this. And by fix I mean make it more stable. It already feels pretty rough. Not unplayable, but it feels rough. Not gonna lie. The frame rate is not stable. Alright. Yeah, it's pretty easy to notice that it drops frames. I'm going to use a controller next time, I guess. Will you be doing frame rate analysis on recorded footage for this game? Yes, I want to, because it's super interesting, but I need to do that on Monday probably. If it's still a thing, the beta on Monday. Because I'm pretty short on time. I wanted to just do first impressions. So yeah, so far it feels, yeah, there are some graphical bugs. And as you can see there, it's a beta, I know, but this is the slowest last-gen console. So I wanted to see if it was unplayable, but it's actually playable. If you don't mind, drops into the 30s and drops into 720p pretty often. Yeah. Looks like how Black Ops 1 played on PS3. No, that played better on PS3, I guess. Well, actually, the PS3 was pretty hit or miss with multi-platform games. I can only imagine the sound of the One S screaming right now. Let me hear it. No, it's not so bad. The One S is not so noisy. The original Xbox One, the one that is the BCR, that one is pretty noisy, yeah. But this one, it does do a lot of sound, but it's not so bad. It's not like PS4 Pro levels of noise, but you can hear it, yeah. Anyway, that's it, guys. As you can see, the Xbox One S again feels mostly 720p, maybe lower. But I mean, look at that. Look at that model. Look at that 3D model. Is there a testing range or something? That would be nice to try out. Let me check. I don't think there's a range to try the weapons. But I mean, look at those models of the guns. You can definitely notice that. And thank you so much, Dark Master, for the 6 MYR donation. Not sure what that is. Let me check that out. MYR currency. Okay, Malaysian ringgit. Well, thank you so much for the 6 Malayan ringgits. I appreciate that a lot. He says, here's a little tip for enduring the roughness. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it a lot. Yeah, that allows me to have even more pain in the future. Thank you, sir. Do you want to stream how it looks on the PS4 Pro plus HSF experience? Yeah, sure, you can do that, but I don't have a PS4 anymore, so at least in my channel it's not going to happen. But yeah, look at those edges and those models. It's pretty rough, yeah. But if you only have this console, you can play the game if you want. It's rough, but if you don't mind drops into the 30s, use a controller and try to have fun with it. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Again, if you want to play this, my advice, the Series S runs it pretty good at 100 FPS. Sometimes it drops below 100, but looks good. And if you play at 60 Hz on the Series S, it will be pretty sharp, actually. It seems to be a little bit over 1080p most of the time. And thank you so much, Jude Price, for the £1 donation. Thank you so much, man, for the generous donation. Hope you're having a great day. You've been here for a while now. I've seen you on basically all the live streams, so thanks for the support, man. I appreciate it a lot. And I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Bye bye. Thank you. Y Jorge, no tengo ni idea, la verdad. See you next time, guys. Thanks for watching. PS4 Pro is at stable 60 frames, but it just has odd bugs. Okay. Thanks for the heads up. Yeah, makes sense. Those are the enhanced consoles. The base consoles are basically undeveloped. No, underpowered, which was to be expected. Buena, Jorge, buena. Qué buen chiste. Oh. See you guys. Bye bye. Love you all.